Welcome back to day 137 of our chess journey to 1500 ELO and chess.com. Let's just get on ahead here and start a game. We're at 1469 points today. We're playing Anti-Baby from Italy, right? Got that right, perfect. And we're playing 1d4. We have a Queen's Gambit. A Queen's Gambit declined. We'll allow this. I don't quite know the theory here, but this is intriguing. Haven't seen the accelerated move order before of the semi-Slav. What I'm worried about here is those kinds of ideas like this. If this is played and our opponent takes, generally speaking, I think we've figured out taking is not that good in the Slav, so we're allowed to kind of disregard that idea. Let's pin. I was looking at coming out here as well, but I didn't quite love this in some positions. Most likely this will be played, but we get pinned, which is also an option, of course. We could take maybe, could play this, could come up with a queen and try and force this issue. I don't think we should take here. This might even be an option here. Let's say we go here. I think going here is good, in fact, because this and we get the bishop here, and we have a guarantee of undoubling the pawns. So let's come up here, in fact. Now this is defended, and we're playing an anti-Marin gambit, apparently. That's not promising, or so I was going to say, but apparently this was the gambit all the way back here. Because for some reason, I guess apparently we don't win the pawn back here because this is considered a gambit. Let's come up here, maintain the pin. Our opponent castles, and we will go on ahead here and play a3, I think. And if our opponent takes, I think we're not unhappy. We could push up even further, grab space, and the bishop comes back here. Don't know if that's an improvement for us or for our opponent, but we did get some space. The bishop gets here though, but I don't necessarily think that needs to be a problem. So now we have to decide on what to do about this bishop. I would like to move it and kind of try and induce this move, which I think would be okay. c5 is not playable now because we got to b4, but there might be some other moves targeting our structure. Let's go out here, is what I like to say. Controlling this square, so this is not an option after the queen moves, of course. And we come down here and have some threats. There is something to be said about this, but our control there is quite okay. Now this is covered by the knight, so the queen can move and we don't force a doubling of our opponent's pawns. We could take it an opportune moment, I think, but that opportune moment doesn't have to be now, because I think we'd go on ahead and castle instead. Just getting to safety. This is a move I didn't quite account for here. However, I think it should probably be fine if we played this. If we come here, I don't necessarily love what happens because our opponent's pieces kind of get to do as they want and come alive. But if we come here first, if this is played, we take here, and I think in this position this looks better, as our opponent might be forced to have an isolated pawn, or worst case, we at least do not get weaknesses. Let's take. This can't be played because of this. We could have an in-between move here, for example, though. But that's going to be quite weakening for our opponent. We haven't quite gotten our queen into the game yet, but neither has our opponent, I think. They take. Now the C file is mutually open. My first instinct here is coming up with the queen and applying further pressure onto this pawn, is what I was going to say, until I realized this hangs because of this. So let's calculate quickly what happens here and here. This is an in-between move with a check, and then we can drop back. So I think we'll take the pawn, which seems to be a fork like this. And this looks quite promising, in fact. It's kind of funny, I realize I'm just saying the phrase "in fact" at a million times, just like I used to say. What was the phrase I said? Yeah, this is quite awkward, is what I used to say a whole lot for a while. But now, apparently, that's not my go-to phrase. Apparently, it has changed. So essentially, we should be up a pawn now. We could come out here, or we could take here. Honestly, I don't quite know the difference here. This, and we could come here. Don't quite see a massive difference. This at least, and we have the bishop here. And after this, our opponent's queen is going to take. We could come out here, take this, have a fantastic outpost for our horse. And as we are going to go ahead and grab the c-file at some point, the queen will have to move, and we'll be hitting it with tempo. So let's take this bishop, following that logic. And this pawn is essentially free as far as I can see. Yeah, let's take. Was just quickly scanning to see if there was something else, but didn't quite see it, so I think this has to be okay. Our pawn advantage lies here, which is a pretty decent pawn as it gives us this square for our outpost, which importantly as well I think is on a square which cannot be targeted by the bishop, is what I was going to say, until I got a bit flabbergasted, I'd say, by this move. So what does our opponent have here? Is there anything, or did they just blunder a knight, hoping to get a mate in one? Let's say we play this, and then is there a discovery? This, and we can come back and defend the bishop. We take, and if this is played, we come back probably in some way. Now this horse has to be hanging. I can't see how it's not. This has to be a mistake. Most likely this might be our next move, unless this knight moves. We could come here as well, maybe, just targeting the queen quickly. This might be a move, although it doesn't quite worry us all that much, I think, because there we could even come here, I guess. Also what I was going to say, to defend the bishop and threaten mate in one, but in that position there might be this move, which defends this and hits our queen, was what I was going to say once again. But now this is just not quite it necessarily. I think our best move is going here, in fact. Once again, there we go. I said in fact. Apparently that's just the go-to thing now, for some reason. This and this threatens the knight, because we can't take the knight like this now, utilizing this pin because of the bishop threatening our queen. So here we could threaten a queen trade, and by doing so also threaten the knight. However, we'll have to take into account what happens here. But if this is played, we can take the knight, and this bishop can't be taken because this here would be checkmate. So let's come back. I was just looking quickly and seeing if there was a knight move. If we go back here, this isn't a move because the queen is hanging. The queen has to move here, and there is no good move, I think. If they trade, we would be more than happy, as we're up a piece as well as a pawn. This is quite nice as well. This might have to be played, or well, never mind, I'm just kind of forgetting our opponent currently has got 2 hanging pieces. As we calculated, this is no good. Our opponent proceeds to resign. Wow. Was a difficult position, for sure, but I did not expect a resignation. I'll go ahead and, as per usual here, say thanks for the game to our opponent. This was a pretty nice game, up until, I guess, it didn't become all that close after the blunder. Let's go ahead here and analyze quickly, and I will say probably today we will be playing a few puzzles after the game, so stay around if you want to have a look at those with me afterwards. Apparently I think also is one of those phrases I'm just spitting out a plenty. We played with a 95.5% in accuracy here. Our opponent played with 79.5, which is good as well. I see we had 0 inaccuracies, and we had, what was it, 2 good moves, 5 excellent. Generally speaking, our worst move was a good move, and we had 2 of those, which means we had a really good game today, which is quite optimistic in many ways. What I was realizing here is, yesterday I said the game rating varies by 600 depending on our rating. This seems to indicate it goes up and down by 700 in each direction, as we're about 1500, and this evaluated us at 2200 after what essentially is a perfect game. Let's still go into the review though and have a look. This was all good stuff. But here, this transposed into what was called a gambit. Just suddenly forgetting quite normal chess terms here. In this position, if we were to go here, apparently that's a complete blunder. This would have been my plan. Only way to take advantage here is pushing this, and I guess maybe coming down with this threat here. Apparently my arrows are disappearing. Not my doing. Oh, there we go. Now they aren't. Not quite sure why they disappeared there for a moment, but all good. This is the move, and after this we come back, induce this, and we take here even. This is an intriguing position here. A long line, and I guess at the end we take with the pawn. Yeah, we do. Well, anyways, it didn't quite happen. That's a digression on my part. Was just curious as to how that would have played out. All good moves here. Our opponent should have taken. If they didn't, then we got to build an advantage here. Castled, and this allowed for this move. If we were to take here, I didn't quite love the idea, and the computer agrees. This gives our opponent counterplay down here. So this was advantageous to us, taking with this pawn and playing on our terms. Our opponent took the wrong way, and we got to take this pawn. Should have taken here, I guess. We still had the option of taking the next move, but the difference is negligible, I'd say. Should have kicked the queen first here as well. This is still good, I think, and our opponent missed this here. This was played. This isn't the most accurate move, but this is much more concrete and forces stuff off the board, which should be really good as we have an advantage here. So well, that's about it for the game there. Was a quite short one today, but I definitely think it was educational. And as for our next part here, we'll be going on and having a look at a few puzzles today to improve our tactical vision, which I've been mentioning has been a bit lacking as of late. So what do I see here? First of all, we have even material, but our opponent has a bishop for our knight. First thing I was looking at was trying to see if there was a tactic here by taking this bishop. I don't quite see anything there, to be honest. But what I'm realizing here is we might win this bishop by applying pressure to the pawn. Or to the bishop rather, but there, if we were to go here, the bishop would move away and we don't get anything. So I'm realizing here our move has to be this, applying pressure this way. So if the bishop moves, we win a rook instead. So let's move here. The rook comes up, probably to do this. Here I think we still take, and that's a successful puzzle to start. Next puzzle, what do I see here? We are in a horrendous position here if we don't do anything about this. First thought that struck me was, considering the position here and our king safety and our apparent lack of an immediate attack, the only thing that we might have here is a queen trap. So then, looking at the idea of a queen trap, I came to the conclusion this might be an option, and then we'll just have to be double checking all the alternatives for our move. Queen can't go here because of the rook. This is defended by the queen. Bishop covers this. This is defended by a pawn. This is defended by our rook. This is defended by our king and our rook as well there. So this is a queen trap. Let's go there. Now our queen is threatened. Our opponent might want to go here. I guess this has to be the move to still keep the fence of this so the queen doesn't escape. And also to meet this move with, well, essentially trapping the knight. So let's go here so as not to lose our queen, and then we'll be taking this queen. Next move, if this was played, we would have taken with our queen. That's 2 for 2. Let's play a third puzzle. White to play. What do I see here? This is an interesting position to say for, or to, yeah, definitely an interesting position. My initial idea here is coming up like this and coordinating with the knight. If we go here, the king is forced onto this square. But do we have any follow-up there? We might actually have an interesting move here, which would be a move like this and checking here and opening up for our queen, but I don't quite see any follow-up there. So how about coming here immediately, cutting off both of those squares. The queen doesn't want to take because it would be lost like this. And if the pawn takes, I think our queen gets in, which might get scary for our opponent. This is looking quite tactical though. I would like to have a quick look at this first as well. The reason I would like you to have a look at this is, or well, until I realized this is covered. Never mind, I guess. If that's not an option, it's probably going to be this move or this move. I don't expect this to be the move. There, this could be played, and our opponent has decent control there, I think. Or do they? Here, if this is played, yeah, we don't quite get a whole lot there. This and this. This seems to be one of those puzzles where we have to calculate quite a bit. It's definitely a tactically difficult one. There is a whole lot of stuff covering each other in many directions. But this seems to be one of those interesting moves where this wins material or this opens up our queen, but then we have to keep on following this line to get an idea of what happens here. So let's say, for instance, we play like this. What could happen as a response? This is our option here of checking our opponent's king. This will be covered by our queen and this by our bishop. Let's say the queen king goes here. Still here, we can't quite come down like this because I think this coordination doesn't quite work out in our favor. So what do we have then? Some of you guys might have already found the move here. I'm still kind of looking here, as it's not all that easy to spot if you were to ask me. This is maybe what I'm leaning towards. The problem is I don't quite see our follow-up move. Let's say we go here then. Then if this is played, we might have something there. It seems like the position there kind of opens up, which it in fact does, I guess, as this appears to be the correct move. The follow-up, I was looking at this. Is it correct or is it not? Oh, this is... Oh, I entirely missed in advance. This is a pin. So here we can utilize this and get in with the knight. The queen sacrifices itself, and this, I guess, is the solution to the puzzle, winning the queen. We'll do one more puzzle, and I guess after this puzzle, we'll be ending the video for today. So what just happened? We lost a bishop, or so it would appear. However, I'm guessing we probably have some tactic here to not lose the game. First move I looked at was this. And if this is played, I don't quite see a way of getting a checkmate there. Although I might be missing something. Let's have a quick look. If this is played, we can't come down with the rook. Okay, so if that's not an option, then what do we do? We could have this check, for example, but after this, I don't see a whole lot, and this bishop might get time to move and defend like this. So then, what else? This maybe? But this is a check, which seems not all that good. We can't come onto this diagonal, which would have been nice because of this pawn. Is this a move? And if this is played, I was looking at this, but there I think we just lost material. This. The thing is, I think this is probably the move. I just cannot quite see what we're doing here if this is played out. Maybe this, and coming down here with a threat. Puzzles here are not all that easy. This is my intuition, but my intuition might not always be correct. In this case, maybe this is scary, but then again, maybe not. How about this and we take? You know, that's a bishop, never mind. Would we reveal an attack against our bishop and attack our rook? This is... It's not all that obvious, I'd say, but we'll be trying to find something, and I'll be kind of sharing here what I'm thinking and how I'm going about this. This was not good because of the check, so let's rule that move out. This isn't a move. I would just want to get onto this diagonal to get this kind of an idea here. But we don't have that idea in this position. This doesn't seem to work either. I don't think, at least. Now we don't have a checkmate threat here either. So honestly, most likely it's this move. But once again, as I mentioned, I did not see the follow-up. Which most likely I should be finding the follow-up in advance, but I did not see where this leads. This, the king could get out this way maybe. Oh no, now I see the move. This threatens this. And we also have a good position and our rooks are generating some pressure. So this is free and we hit the rook. Never mind, I'm mistaken. Apparently it's this move. And then it's, oh, it's in an in-between move, because here the king is first out, so this would have been an immediate checkmate. We still win the knight and threaten down here. Wow, I didn't see that move. Was a pretty nice puzzle. Well, 3 successful ones and 1 failed one at the end there. I'd say that's a net win for us. Once again, a short video today. We've been having a few shorter videos as of late because of some shorter games. Hopefully you guys don't mind. I still think the quality of a lot of the games have been pretty decent. But well then, that's it for today's video, I guess. Thanks to our opponent once again. Forgot their name just now as I don't have it on my screen here, but thanks to them still, and thank you for watching to the end of the video. Hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. This has been our, well, I was going to say game for today, but we played puzzles as well, so our video for today, and I hope to see you all tomorrow. Bye bye.